Hi, this is Professor K. I wanted to show you a quick overview of how I offer feedback on essays and assignments that are turned on in this course. When you receive the feedback or the assignment back, you should see comments in the Word document on the right hand side. If not, click on Review and Show Comments, and they should appear on the right. And please take the time to look through the feedback that I offer here. It'll help you become a better writer, because you want to communicate so that the reader can understand what you're trying to say. So using good punctuation, good grammar is a good way to do that. So let's take a look at some of the issues I found on this paper. Missing indent. So basically what I'd like you to do is follow APA format in this course. So you need double spacing, indents, a title. It's good to have a title. What you don't need is a summary or an abstract beginning. I don't really require running heads, and I don't really need a cover page for this course. So, comma splice is an issue that comes up a lot in papers that I see. Basically, comma splice is where a period should be, or a semicolon. So if you look at the beginning of this sentence, it says, "Nearly everyone has a phone constantly." Now that's a complete thought, so it should be a period. Then somewhere on their person is a tool, so you want to use a period or a semicolon there. And find the link. See, I include a link too, because I'd like you to follow this, because that'll really give you the rules behind why punctuation is the way it's supposed to be. And it's all geared towards guiding the reader to understanding what you're trying to say. So I encourage you to improve your writing, and one way to do it is to work on your own to find out the proper rules, and it'll definitely pay off in the workplace, because you'll be able to communicate better than other people. You'll be able to write better than other people. So if you click on the link, the Purdue OWL site will show up a lot of times, or there might be some other site, and what it will show is the rules behind the grammar and the punctuation, so that you know that there's a reason for it, and if you follow it, you'll know it. Now, this wasn't a good example, and I definitely need to change that. That shows you this is I'm going to do that right after this. Change that. I think all the other ones work fine. For some reason I have the wrong link on that one. But let's get off of that. Go back to the paper. So comma splice, I need to fix that. Comma use, let's see if that one's good. Okay, so comma use, that comes up all the time. As hard as it is to believe, now that's what's called an introductory phrase. So what you want to do is, anytime you have an introductory phrase, you put a comma after it, because that helps the reader distinguish between these two words basically, and know when you're setting up some other statement, the more important part of the sentence that follows. So let's try that link, make sure that one works. Takes a while because I have the video going, so that one works, and all the other ones I believe should work fine. So let's just do a few more. Missing preposition. So he's beginning this with April 3rd, so you want to say on April 3rd. Cut, if I say cut, it means the word's not necessary. You want to have concise writing, so if there's words in there that you don't really need, just take them out. It'll make you a better writer. People will be able to read what you're trying to say better. So relative pronoun comes up quite a bit. It's kind of a picky thing, but I like to mention it because doing it right is helpful. So if you have a which, a lot of times, most of the time, you want to put a comma in there, because it's some wording or a phrase that's really not necessary to the essential meaning of a sentence. So look at that. If you see that, look at the link and it'll explain it. Using numerals 10 or above, yeah, I always recommend using numerals for anything higher than 10. So this would be 20-minute battery life. numerals, and you also want to hyphenate that because it modifies battery life, so it'd be 20-minute battery life. Commas place again. Proofreading. If you see proofreading as something that's funny, and this is kind of like an British version of popularized, so I'm kind of wondering where that word came from. But you'll see that sometimes. It just means you need to look at your writing a little bit more to get it polished so that there's not too many mistakes. Readers can, they can accept a few errors, but if there's too many of them, then it becomes a problem. Cut, that's just, again, where I don't want, something's not needed. Sentence clarity is what I use when I can't really understand what you're trying to say, and it's hard. It's also hard for me to describe it sometimes. So in this sentence, he says, Cooper himself tells of consumer sources, one being the superintendent of police in Chicago. I'm just basically not sure what's trying to be said there. So look at that, and there's a link also for that might help you to write more clear sentences. If I might have a question, what do you mean by that? I don't necessarily need an answer specifically that you have to email me, but it's just letting you know that I don't really, as a reader, understand what you're trying to say. So here's another proofreading thing. It's is a very common problem. Just think of it's as a possessive, unless it's it is. If it's it is, then it's it apostrophe s. If it's a possessive, you don't need the apostrophe. So just if it's like that, it's a contraction for it is. Does it is work in a sentence? If it doesn't, then you use it as it's, the possessive form. So hopefully that'll help you out. Oh, one more, editorializing. If you see that, it just means that there's some opinion that you're putting in the paper that really doesn't belong there. Some papers call for opinion, and it's good to include, but sometimes if you're putting opinion in there that's not really appropriate, I'll put that word editorializing in there. Thank you, and good luck, and I look forward to reading your papers.